Very long.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order and get started this morning. Want to thank everybody for attending. So we have an agenda. Did I bring it on? There I go.
Let's start with Lindsay though.
Okay. Lindsay just joined us. She's going to be an economic development specialist with a concentration in agriculture. And I'd like to welcome Lindsay to our meetings from now on. And why don't we just go around the room and everybody introduce themselves? I mean, we talked the other day, Scott.
I'm Scott White, Bank of Cooperstown.
I'm your boss.
And don't forget it, that's what was implied, which is terrible.
Mike O'Brien, Town of Hancock.
We know each other.
We know each other.
Andy Matviak, Village of Sydney, and IOP Pay Waters.
I'm Sean Laddie, County Planning.
And Lindsay's from Delhi and she has she lives on the farm with her dad, mom, and they own a small
Butcher business.
beef and butcher operation.
Yeah.
Right in the village of Delhi here.
All right. A rep for
There she is.
butchering.
A little bit.
Good.
There's Rita. Let her in.
Do you want to say anything else about yourself? Yeah, what you're gonna be doing?
Okay, so I'm hoping to be assisting farmers with getting the finances and assistance they need. You know, so I'm hoping to work with like the USDA and CAID and many other, you know, organizations. This is my first week, so I've had a lot thrown at me. But other than that, I'm very excited to be here and, you know, hope that I can be of some assistance to the ag program.
And she's dove right in on the Tiberio custom meats, and she's part of a conference call yesterday for a new grant opportunity. Or not yesterday, someday this week.
One day this week, then maybe Monday.
Yes,
Tuesday.
so we are throwing a lot at her, and both Sean and I have mentioned a couple times, you know, there's the deep end, get in, and yeah.
Going well. Thank you.
Okay, can I have an approval for the minutes, draft minutes from April 28th, please? Any discussion or changes? All in favor? Opposed, thank you. Can we have, Glenn, you want to run through the treasurer's report?
Yeah, so on the treasurer's report on the IDA side, I don't have anything new to add, although we have finally gotten the paperwork for our IRP 5 grant, well, not grant, loan through USDA. We'll be talking about more of that when we get to the LBC, because I'll need a resolution there. But so at this stage, you know, we have the 200,000 sitting in the Bank of Cooperstown account that we've pledged towards this program. So at some point during the process of accepting the financials, if we can add in there an approval to transfer that 200,000 over into the LDC IRP 5 account. So we can move forward with that. Yeah, and I'll get more into that when we get to the LDC. So on the LDC, well, kind of did all the same thing there. We will finally be getting 750 from USDA under IRP 5. So that'll be another, with the 200 contribution from the IDA, so that'll be another $950,000 loan fund that we'll have available to us. Because with where we are, not that, you know, we've got plenty on ag, and this will help bolster what's available for other areas.
That's just a general loan fund.
Yeah, just general loan fund under the same rules. loans of up to 250,000, max of up to 250,000. No more than 50% of project costs on the initial run through of the funds. And yeah, so typical guidelines that we
Okay.
always have. And this is money we do have to repay over a 33-year basis.
Yep.
The first 3 years are interest only.
Great.
What's your interest? 1%. Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the loan report, I have a wrong order. So number 10 is one we've been meaning to reach out to. I just didn't have a chance yet. So there's been no contact there.
Why are you doing that?
Because Sean's time has kind of been co-opted by the CARES Act grant. It's basically taken all his time getting through that.
Okay.
It's just a very tough period right now.
So will you be able to delegate those tasks in the next 6
Well, we're hoping that after our first submission to the state,
we should be.
we should have a week or so where they're waiting on them. And then we should get through it fairly quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't need to be making collection calls, delegate that.
Okay. Oh, guess what you're gonna
There
do.
we go.
I'll be the bad guy.
So, number 13 is paying, that's just past due balance. We did try to hook them up with a two potential parties that were interested in leasing a portion or, purchasing outright. I haven't heard back on that other than that they have talked. 14 through 16, that's still something we're working through, providing them with options to come back to full payment on their notes by September.
Are they ramping up?
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I'm told.
Solve their DEC.
That's what I'm told.
Okay, solve their DEC and.
I'm
be
told
nice
their
about it.
DEC problems are in the past. That they basically finished the reclamation, they need it to be inspected and then they should be fine.
Okay,
Mike, do you see any activity over there?
I happened to see Pete and he said that they were buying stone and filling orders. Didn't say they were in their own quarries.
Yeah. There's a place at a PA that they're buying stone from to fill their orders. So then they could bring in guys, I think a handful might be full-time, others are per job, they come in. And fill that order and then kind of slows down again.
Like 9 people.
Yeah,
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be like 2024.
yeah. Well, when we first got involved, they were down to 19, at one time they were even much higher. Number 17, they are, they've been making cash payments, they have fallen behind there. I received an interesting call yesterday that I was only able to return today by a lawyer representing a different first mortgage holder on that property. So I'm gonna be running over to Carly's office after this meeting and getting her in touch with this attorney to see who actually has the right claim to first position.
hey,
My concern is that this loan was closed by our prior attorney. So it is not inconceivable to me that we told him we were getting a first mortgage. He wrote it up as a first mortgage and never did any type of searches.
Ouch.
Yes.
Did the other.
However, they haven't paid the other mortgage holder since 2019. So we're way ahead.
And did the attorney tell you how much was owed on his mortgage?
He did not, I didn't want to get into details because he was asking me for details and I didn't want to blow our case.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, that's for Carly to talk about.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
However, he did say on the phone that while his client was interested in pursuing foreclosure on that it's his understanding, he spoke to the owner of the property directly, that there is actual real potential for a sale. And he's like, I don't want to start that if it is actually going to
Oh,
sell. So
okay.
I'm not overly optimistic.
Maybe we'll still get some luck.
Yeah, okay, and then number 21, I don't know, that was updated subsequent to when it first went out. So they are off the past due list, they are now paying 21. I don't know which version you have. If you have the new version, they're not even marked. If you have the first version, then it shows them as doing a past due amount. They are now on automatic withdrawal. And so
Okay.
we're just
What do you
moving
show
forward.
balance outstanding? About $1,500 if they paid up.
No, they are 35.
Okay,
The past due amount was because we voluntarily told them not to pay.
Yeah.
So we were just trying to track it. When they agreed to come on to automatic payment, we could have probably had the right to, but we had granted them the deferment to ask for the full amount back. I didn't. Mike, you come on to automatic payment, we'll just carry this out. I mean, it's gonna be 2 years.
this move to Oneonta gives them year-round cash flow and makes it easier to pay this.
Yes, that's what they're planning, because right now this has been a sideline business. It's not full-time yet for the partners, but that's what they're planning for.
So are they doing anything out of the city location? or-
Yep, yeah, they had
It looks
a,
like they have a bunch set up there.
yep, they had an event there last week, last Saturday and Sunday. They were open out there. So the Sydney location is basically, year-round every day. Whereas the Sydney location will be weekends during nice weather. Yeah.
Somewhere I read, Andy, that was gonna be like May through October.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have a nice setup there.
yes. Yeah, and people go there for that setting. It's right by the river and they've got all the outdoor space and lawn games and stuff like that and bands or music and.
And a speaker with a bass pointed right at Howard's.
Well, hopefully they don't have that anymore. Okay, so moving on to LDC loan report, you'll like the answer to this one. On number 11, Tabitha is in touch with them.
Yes, I do like that.
Yeah.
I spoke to him last week to
Yeah.
see what, say, owe money to the village
Yes,
and to see what his status is. And they told me he's trying to sell it.
right.
And I said, well, when are we going to get payments? And I referred him to the new mayor to discuss that.
Mhm. Yes,
He told me he sold his place in Norwich. He owned the old deli there
Yeah.
downtown, and he told me that's been sold. I drove by it last week and it looks like somebody is in there.
Okay, what's he got Main Street Sydney on the market for?
Price wise, he
Yeah.
didn't tell me.
yeah, so we'll get those details. Number 13 is not uncommon. It's just timing.
They're
Num-
doing very well, by the way,
Yeah.
very well.
I've done a couple.
They're over in Sydney. They used to be at the golf course. They moved down into the village.
Okay.
Yeah, they're at the old Masonic Lodge, right?
Or something, wasn't it? Lodge?
Oh, so
No, it was Mason.
Masons, okay, yeah, I knew it was.
One of the
lodge.
interesting things there too is we were having problems with one of the neighbors there with their heating and everything, and he was spreading the sewage and all kinds of stuff. Knock on wood, that we haven't heard from him in a couple of months, so.
Number 19 again. Tabitha is handling this one.
Good.
They had an issue with their accounts and they're switching over. Why it's taking 4 months to rectify. Tabitha's working on it. Number 38, we are in the process of pursuing them.
Carly's doing that.
Yes. Reluctantly. So
There just aren't other options.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
reluctantly,
I reached out to the other option you mentioned.
Right.
He's
Didn't
not
have
interested.
interest.
No.
Right.
You're the ones who did the cars.
Yes.
Yeah.
The transports, yeah.
Got some fraud there.
Okay, number 51, this sometimes happens where they'll miss a month or two and then they come in, we call them, they come in and they pay right up. And we'll be seeing them tonight. Because they're hosting I shouldn't say that. We
Okay.
may run into them this evening.
It's tough to use this evening's event though as a collection.
Not really.
I'll have some dignity.
Yeah, okay, so that's what I have under that unless there's questions.
Any other questions? Or are we good? Okay. I need a couple of motions. I need a motion to accept the financials, including payment of the bills. So I have that first.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I
Aye.
need a motion to transfer all of the balance in the Bank of Cooperstown. Is that what you want to do, Glenn?
Yes, please. 200,000.
The $200,000 balance from the Bank of Cooperstown to our operating account.
I move.
I'll second Marita's motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, okay. Before we jump into the project updates, Florida, I didn't get a chance to say hello. Florida Santana is on Zoom. I'd like you to meet Lindsay Whitbeck.
Nice to meet you, Lindsay. Welcome aboard.
Lindsay's joined us. She's going to be working as an economic development specialist and concentrating in the ag area.
Excellent.
So one of these days we'll get you in the office, Florida, and you guys can meet face to face.
Excellent. Nice to meet you.
Okay, Glenn, you want to talk about Catskill Regional Harvest or Sean or
Yep,
whoever?
I will, and you can correct me when I make a mistake. Okay, so we've made a big push, Sean has made a big push on selling the equipment and just where we're currently at, and Sean and I didn't get a chance to spend much time together this morning because we're going to CARES acting. But between inventory and equipment, we're right now at roughly $20,000 that we've received. And there are still a couple people who owe us money. Yeah, there's still a few checks that will be coming in.
What do you think the check coming in the point will add up to? 22? Probably around there. Okay.
22, and then we do have what we value at $7,900 worth of equipment left. But apparently nobody else valued it at that because nobody's made an offer. So I'll touch base with Sean if we want to, drop the price and do it one last thing or,
Okay,
but so roughly we're at 22,000.
22,000. What do we have for a term loan?
For our term loan was The principal was either 36 or 42, I forget, because all the numbers I've been adding in, like rent and things like that, which is what our thing is.
Right.
So I believe the term loans were around 42,000.
Okay. So there's a lesson to be learned in that,
Yeah,
all right?
What about that?
yes, I've learned a couple.
What about that guy over in like Livingston Manor, does restaurant equipment, we just tell him come pick it up? I mean, maybe he gives you $100 for it or something.
There have been a couple people who have like put lowball offers in on everything. $50 here and, so we could,
Well, based on what you and Jim are working on for the sale or lease of that, maybe that just gets incorporated into.
Yes, some of the items that are left, we have a big butcher case. That's the highest ticket item. People have expressed interest, but
nobody wants to move it.
no one wants to move it.
Right.
We have a
It's safe.
smaller deli case and then we have a bakery display case. Those are the last three big items. And then we have like a meat slicer, so
Is it light?
Gotta be a fire.
Is it light?
take the meat slicer. It's like a.
It's commercial.
It's a commercial.
Yes.
Can you take a picture of it the next time you?
I have.
Okay,
You know, someone who might be interested.
well, my dad, he's a butcher, but the spare one that we have is super heavy. So it has to be on a cart,
Hmm.
where the other one that we have is like he can move it, but it would be good to have an extra one that he didn't have to lug around.
All right, we'll talk after.
You consider,
We can.
I know.
I got it.
you consider the Lulu and Lulu payment.
Lindsay, you can go over and try and pick it up.
Yeah, see if I can.
Yeah, so basically, we're basically at the end of this and, if we had had more time, I probably would have been in May coming with you with final dispositions, but we're just not there yet, so it'll be in June.
Yep.
And then a proposal for paying people.
There is still some food in there.
Everything's past it. I think everything that's,
Anything left is
Food.
past due.
yeah,
Past the expiration date.
yeah. I mean, other than seeing if a food pantry would take it, but even sometimes though, they don't.
They don't-
Even if it's a box of pasta that expired in February, there's nothing wrong with it, but they're not going to accept it,
Mhm.
which is why it's still sitting there.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so then I know Jim and Sean have showed the place recently to somebody who's very interested. We still have several people interested that we will be reaching out to next week and starting to put together, a time frame for, hopefully getting offers in.
Can we talk about that in executive session?
Sure,
Because
that would be better there.
I've
That's why I just wanted
I've
to
got
understand.
some other stuff to do in executive session.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So then I guess that's Catskill Regional Harvest.
Good. One thought that I had. We're gonna have to soon get somebody in there to mow.
Oh, yes, that was the other thing I wanted to mention. I talked to OET about having their cemetery crew mow it,
Perfect.
which would be very cost effective for us to do it that way.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, they can get out there right away.
Done.
Right.
Yeah.
Without the band breaking down.
Yes. Yes.
You need any motions to make that happen? Or is that
I mean,
just-
that's up to you. I think that's just a maintenance cost and
I would agree.
it's not gonna be,
Yeah.
it's not gonna total very
Okay.
much money.
No.
So,
Right.
Yeah,
Make it happen.
okay. So yes, so there will be. that.
Great.
Yeah.
Sewage Work Corp.
Yep, so just providing the financial updates, so switching over to a cash basis this time. So there's the profit and loss and then the balance sheet. Just one caution on the profit and loss. That was through April, but about I'm gonna say about 5,000 of April's expenses weren't paid until the first week in May. So, you know, we're above board, but you know, not. We're where we should be financially with the Sewer Works Corporation, I'll put it that way.
Okay.
And everything's working well there. Oh, also on the Sewer Works Corporation. So at the last meeting, I had mentioned that we're trying to work together with the village to move forward in a consolidated basis in terms of user agreements and capital projects that are needed at the wastewater treatment plant and the line. Getting a meeting together was hard. There was a COVID. I didn't know that was still a thing, but that took the principal out. So, but long story short, I have a conference call set up for Monday to begin that process.
Okay.
Of getting the village we're working together with the village and moving together jointly rather than separately,
Good.
which the new mayor is in favor of.
Do we need a motion to accept the treasurer's report for Sewer Works, or is that included in our other motions?
But I've never done this separate. We can,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should probably, I should
Start
probably
doing that.
move that up
Okay.
into the normal
Right.
financials, yes, but yes,
Okay.
they should be.
so may I have that motion, please?
Motion to approve as presented.
Thank you.
All in favor? Thank you. Not. We're gonna keep rolling with you, Glenn.
Yep,
Yeah,
yeah,
Meredith.
so 9 Meredith Street, we completed the boundary line adjustment to facilitate the sale and the approval of the site plan. We went to the ZBA meeting a couple Tuesdays ago. Oh, actually, I didn't go, you went, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Sean went to the ZBA meeting a couple Tuesdays ago. We needed a back variance, what's the proper term? Rear setback variance for the proposed new garage building to be built, which they have to hold a public hearing for, but there was no concerns expressed at the meeting. And then, right?
Yeah, I think the public hearing is the 21st.
Yes, 20th, right? Deb, do you remember? No, June.
June.
Yes, yes. So, the public hearing will be, there for the ZBA variance. We are planning on going to village planning board in June or wait until. Okay, so we'll go to the village planning board in June, to present the site plan, but,
June or July.
well, they wouldn't be able to approve it till July. Because they'll have to wait till after the public hearing, yeah. And the ZBA has promised to act after the public hearing. So that'll be done in June, and then it's the first Tuesday or second Tuesday in July.
I think it's the first.
I do too. So it should be the first Tuesday in July where we'll have site plan approval. And then everything can move forward.
Good.
Is John all right with his contractor?
Well, John's in Mexico, so
Yeah,
John's
I know.
okay this week. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. I haven't touched base with him on this in a little bit, but
Okay.
yeah, I will. Oh, yeah, so, yeah, so we had, as part of one of the regulations, we were required to have DEP come out and do a site visit for stormwater, and things started off with a bang apparently, and then went downhill from there when I arrived. Not because of anything I did, no, I just had bad, just coincidental.
Bad time.
Yeah, so there are no stormwater issues per se with the lot. However, the lot is adjacent to what may be determined to be a a water course.
What?
Because there is.
Oh, underground.
Yes, there's a stream that goes underground on portion of Meredith Street. And it happens to be within 100 feet of where this new building and the parking lot would be. Happens to be within like.
But that's all
5 feet of it.
piped underground.
It's all piped underground, but if it's determined to be a water course, then.
How can they determine that to be a water course? It's nothing but a water main. Like it's no different
That's
than,
what we're hoping for, but. We won't know.
We're awaiting their determination.
Yes, they will have to make that determination.
holy.
Does that mean they gotta rip up the road and we can't use that?
Well, that's why I believe they're gonna, well, that's why I think there should be some optimism that it won't be determined to be that. Because the consequences of it, if it is, we're talking, basic, major consequences to that whole end of the village. Depending on how they wanted to go.
Or someone, or CWC paying
That's what I mean,
$6 million to
right?
engineer and.
Yeah.
I made up that.
It would be even more. It would be 20. Yes, so if they determine it to be that, well, they've just created a $20 million project,
Right,
or,
Which was identified.
Maybe it's
in
not
the,
yeah, or maybe it's not a water course.
Who makes that determination?
The DEP.
John's property doesn't contribute to that. There's no way,
There's the storm drain, it runs through. the
oh, there is a
drain.
storm drain, okay,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah,
Shall see. We should know today or early next week.
Okay,
right,
I
they
think is
they
what
were
they
gonna
said.
go out today.
It's
I know he said he was hoping to.
Sooner rather,
Right, yes, he knows there's, we need to know.
How big is that pipe?
Sean said he thought it was 20 inches.
I was guessed 24, but the
24.
LFA. Local flood analysis recommends that it be replaced with a 60-inch pipe. At that location. Which runs, underneath the curb. Down past the.
And underneath the street for part
And
of it.
continues right.
And
to
continues
the
all the
west
way up.
branch.
Yeah, and so it goes all the way up from the swampy area, that's that water course.
it starts at Cutterback, above
Yeah,
Cutterback.
above
That's
Cutterback.
The main one, then there's another one that comes down by like. And drains like above High Street,
Yeah,
yeah, that night, they come together somewhere around Spruce Street.
all underground.
I was only partially sarcastic. It was, they could create quite the night.
Yes,
there if
they could
needed.
create something huge, and which is why. I think there's a source about this.
After we met, I read the LFA, and the LFA identifies it as a storm conveyance system. Something, language like that.
Right, so that would,
Not
that
what
would-
it covers.
yes,
So I think
that gives them the basis to say, yeah,
not strange.
right. So. Yeah,
Thanks, Larry.
Okay,
so Ravens View Genetics, I've been trying to get in touch with Joanne from them. And our schedules just haven't meshed. We were supposed to have a conference call or a Zoom meeting yesterday. And I didn't get back to her in time and she filled it with so we're meeting when? One of you put it in my calendar, Monday at 2. Yes, so Monday at 2, I'll be meeting with them. I've got 3 requests now from the supervisor for the town of Walton to hold the public information meeting. I know he is under considerable pressure. I just need to talk to Joanne first, and then I can move forward with the mayor, who has offered to host it and move forward that way. Also, on a side note, not a proponent, but what's the opposite of proponent? Sorry, my brain's not working that well.
It's Friday.
So a local opponent to the project has been in touch with me on several occasions, and then also the county and my committee chairman about an issue that within our bylaws, we state that we will not do projects that are against local, state, or federal law. And with and this opponent believes that it being illegal on a federal basis means if we were involved in this project, we would be breaking federal law and thereby violating our own bylaws. I did throw this by our attorney.
Trump state.
Yeah, I did throw this by our attorney. He disagrees that it is in violation of our bylaws, and where somebody somewhere is doing some research, but I was doing some on site. It basically comes down to interstate commerce, and that is very vague. And I was just reading through it this morning. There's like 4 different ways that it's commonly interpreted, but that the prevailing way in this is that it's not interstate commerce because the state says you can't sell it out.
Interest.
So then it's intrastate commerce, and in that case, state law prevails over federal law. And so if it's legal in the state, then that supersedes whatever way the federal government may characterize it. So I'm just looking for some lawyer to write that and sign it and send it to us. If that is in fact what they determine.
And you've asked our lawyer to do that.
Yes. Yeah.
Joanne might be helpful with that because she's involved heavily at the state level
Mhm.
with the Cultivators Association,
Yes.
and I'm sure they have access to legal counsel there.
Yep, yeah, so that's something another thing to add to when I speak with
Yep.
And
Joanne.
the local opponents drive to have a fit over this is based on what?
Fear that it would contribute to a worsening of the drug culture in Walton.
We probably have a pretty good one there now. So how can it be any worse?
Well, there's an issue that, there are some, like in many upstate communities, there are issues with drugs. And there's a fear that this would make it worse. Now, the fact that it's not a dispensary and it's not selling, it's creating for distribution elsewhere. There's still that concern. Despite the fact that it would be perfectly legal under village law for a dispensary to be located in the village.
Right.
This is a different project, but they're getting treated the same. So that there's just an importance to hold this public information meeting, which is why I've been trying to get in touch with Joanne.
All right,
Does the
So,
mayor
our,
have any issues with is the mayor politically sensitive to the opposition somehow?
The town board is very sensitive to the
Just
issue.
that it-
Yes.
But the property's in the village,
Right.
so you have the town board trying to control what the village board does. Is what it boils down to.
Or if the, not politically, if the opposition has enough push.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make you aware that,
all right,
we're looking into whether this is or is not a violation of the bylaws. Preliminarily, the determination is it's not, just looking for the backup documentation as to why we would state that.
okay,
I wanted to make
So-
you guys aware.
whether it's legal or illegal, someone could sue us
Well, anybody could sue anybody anywhere
Yeah.
for anything.
for anything.
We have to pay to defend ourselves.
Mhm.
Do we have funds set aside for silly lawsuits?
I've never created such an account.
Okay, would the county support us in that from a legal standpoint?
From a legal
County-
standpoint,
County legal counsel supporting us. Okay,
What is our? What are we in on this? I mean, are we loaning them money to do this? Are we giving them property?
the sale of the property,
We're selling the property to them,
and potentially provide a pilot agreement if they did apply for it.
and that we would do with the authority or the blessing of the town. Pilot program,
Village.
Village.
village,
So it's not like. I guess what I'm saying is, it's not like we're furthering it and making this happen. They're applying to us to buy the property. There's nothing saying we can't sell the property. Whatever they do is entirely up to them.
right, but you know, when
Yeah, I know
people
what's
sue,
happened
the
in
blanket
Delaware
covers
County.
everybody.
Yeah.
Then you all get drawn in and you all have to pay to defend yourself.
Yes, of course.
I'm not saying I'm opposed to it, I'm just saying, all right, what are the downside risks to this?
I mean, the opposition, I mean, why would you want to sue somebody who raises tax money to defend themselves? Really,
Well,
that's crazy.
logic is obviously gone out the window a
Yeah,
while ago.
see how much money they get.
Well, that's why the public hearing is gonna be so valuable.
Yes.
You hear all these views.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of misperceptions of what this project is and what it isn't,
Right,
so.
yeah, right now, everybody's hearing it by word of mouth, and you know how that gets blown,
Right.
gets out of proportion.
Especially when the word of mouth is coming mostly from the opponent.
Right, exactly.
Right. Now, one of the things that we haven't talked about is whether we sell them the entire parcel or just how many acres was it, Sean? 4?
There's a couple different.
There was
opportunities.
split it into the south side of the property.
Yeah. I don't recall.
I don't remember.
I don't remember the number exactly. I have the plan pulled out, that's.
Yeah,
It was a smaller piece. It was like, it was more like 3 was
Was-
the bigger one, and then there was like an acre and a half next to it. Yeah,
which would require us to put a road, 2 roads in.
yes.
And there are other entities that are expressing interest in that now.
In the remainder, the
Yes.
part that's behind Bob Biddy's
Mhm.
building, okay?
Which is all good.
Right.
It's,
So even if this sale went through and then somebody else is looking at something else, it's just. That's good.
Yeah. And then also on that front, there was some news that the state level, Jim, you were saying,
well, the state has changed the licensing provisions of their regulations. So they're in a position now to start moving forward with the acquisition and construction.
rather than having to apply
Right.
for a new license, the state just this week,
That was last weekend.
yeah, just.
I got the call
within
Sunday.
the last week. Determined or stated that if you currently have a license to grow cannabis.
Yep.
You don't need to apply for a new one. You have it, you
Which
can just.
they
move
do,
forward.
they.
And they already
Yeah.
have
On
it,
their
yes.
49.3
Yeah.
acre
So that was one thing that was there. Yeah, you're gonna have to, reapply or
Yeah.
whatever. No, they're just able to.
Yeah, the state decided the Cannabis Control Board is the one that's driving all these regulations. And they made the decision that why make everybody that's already been approved for a license get approval for another license?
Then are the people who wanted to buy the property to build homes there, are they out of the picture or are they still in the picture?
Well, the problem with that is there's the deed covenant that says it can't be used for residential purposes. I think they understand that. Is a difficult thing to overcome and most likely precludes it. From ever happening, even if they were to acquire the property. So I think that is not the concern. The concern is, potential negative impacts of this on the local community. which, is, we are supposed to be
Cognizant of
attentive
that.
to and try to address those concerns, and I think this meeting will.
And that the industry is structured in New York State so that it's not vertically integrated. So if they're producing and processing,
Right, they're
it
prohibited
cannot
from
be
selling
dispensed
retail,
Right.
yes,
at that same location.
right. Or even at another location,
Under
or
the
my
same
understanding,
business.
even under a related company.
Right.
Right.
So there's no opportunity, yeah. It's like, oh, I grow it, but my wife owns the business that sells it. No, that's not allowed.
And
And I don't think Ravens View
Oh, no,
wants
yeah.
any part
They
of that.
wouldn't, they're not interested.
They've,
in that.
they told me that they're, no.
No.
They
I
don't
would
want
assume that there's no sale of that product in that community right now. I can't. speak to
Legal or-
that.
not legally.
Take this in.
I was trying to get a vending machine in there to sell it to somebody.
Nobody would go for that. I'll finance the vending machine for you if you'd like.
We're gonna put it behind the Hancock Town Hall next to the EV station. It's machine owned by the town court.
Perfect.
Financed by fees from convictions, yeah. Okay,
Okay, you-
so River Road,
River
River Road Industrial Site, you didn't get there. I put that on as a, Sean's doing basically what he did for us down in Sheffield Estates. You know, a conceptual type of thing. I threw it there just in case he was finished, but you're not, right?
Very close.
So this is in Sydney.
I have it
Yeah,
today. It is
yeah.
in Sydney.
So it's,
Okay.
we've been calling it the new industrial park for so long, I decided we can't call it new anymore. We have to call it the River Road Industrial Park.
Okay.
Okay.
Or I guess it should be River Street Industrial Park. Yeah, sorry.
How many of
River
those,
Street.
how many of those houses do we own?
One.
Just one.
Yeah.
And there's a total of 3?
Is the one on the corner still standing? Wasn't that torn down? Isn't there only two now?
Tisca own both of them?
What's that?
Didn't Tisca own both of them?
Yes.
His house and the one on the corner,
Yeah, and the one is no longer there, so it's just him.
just him.
This would readily sell what he has there.
So that should be part of your plan
Is
is all
All the way
of
to the
those,
corner.
Yeah.
yes, all the way to the drainage ditch. And not that we want to create another water course issue, but I often thought that should all be piped.
DEP watershed.
That's,
That's the Chesapeake water. Still watershed, right, to allow Huff to build out over that.
I will expand the scope of the area. I was
But
looking-
not the
I was just
cost.
looking at the
Thank
one
you.
parcel. No, of course. not. I was just looking at the one that it's roughly 9 acres. With the 19-acre conservation easement.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I'm not sure if there's 2 parcels to the corner or.
2 or 3.
2 or 3, but I will.
Yeah, I do think it's still 3, but the house that was
There's
there,
the undeveloped one, then there's the next house, which we own and rent.
Yep.
And then there's Tisca's house.
yeah,
And I think the next one also is on its own deed.
Yeah.
Even though he owns it. Yeah.
While we're on that property, we have a music concert. On June 1st, if we need parking, can people park there? Do you have a problem with that? It's gonna be at the airport.
yeah, like $15 a car.
Easy.
Me,
We get 50 in Cooperstown on a weekend.
Yeah, that's
the other side.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's gonna be a big deal, I think, right? Yeah.
me.
Taylor Swift.
They're overflow parts flying right there.
Yeah, as long as it's park at your own risk, because I'm not gonna guarantee that someone's not gonna hit a big rock that takes their muffler out. Cause it's not,
Or twist an ankle walking
Or,
across the
yeah.
ground.
yeah. At your own risk.
The village should sign a waiver for us.
How long you been promoting these things, Andy?
This concert,
Yeah.
oh, probably a month.
Who's sponsoring the concert?
What's that?
Who's sponsoring the concert?
Or whose concert is it?
It's, Ed Curley's doing it through Four Towns Forward, which is a community group. We started Vision 21 and now it has active.
Right,
Do they have insurance? So what they should do is just request that their insurance agent name us as an additional insured
We can do that.
right.
For
And then
that-
you Want a copy of that?
for the, get and issue a certificate of insurance for the period of that event.
Yep.
It's done.
Who's playing?
It's a country group, Tay and. I'm not a country person, Tay and something is the main act, and then there's another minor act and a lot of local bands. So, yeah, they're selling like 2,000 tickets and it's going very, very well. Anybody knows Ed Curley, he'll make it happen, you know.
Yeah.
And it's June.
Flannel shirt and boot.
Gotta love it.
Delaware County.
Perfect.
Maybe
Okay.
we'll need to send you over to monitor the parking lot.
In that case, I'll just put up a rope, do not enter. 'Cause I don't want to be responsible for
Or
that.
you put it up and say cash
Or
only.
that.
Yeah. I was gonna say, we can fix that.
Yeah,
Okay, what you have in there for the sale?
It's just an update on that because the board did approve the sale of the lot in the industrial park. He's on vacation, you know, Carly's working on it. We'll have, when he comes, the proposed owner. When he comes back from vacation, he's very hot to close soon. Carly's already working on it. So, you
Okay.
know, definitely by the June meeting, we'll know on that. property.
Right,
2/8, 20 and 8.
20. Yeah.
good enough. We're finally to the point where we can take action on the pilot application
Yes.
for Tiberio
Yep.
custom needs.
So, you know, I put the application up there and there's been the business plan and financials, and I'll keep doing it. Really, the only action that we're taking today is just authorizing the holding of a public hearing. And then we'll hold that public hearing, and then at our next meeting, you know, we'll provide a summary of the project and the reasons for it and against it, and you know, the potential tax impacts, although that is listed there in the application. You know, I did assist them with calculating what those impacts are. So yeah, so for this meeting, and sorry, I only got the resolution yesterday afternoon from our attorney.
Okay.
And basically, yeah, it's just a resolution, stating that we received this application. It's an eligible project. As determined by our attorney, and that we are gonna hold a public hearing, and then there's some new requirements. Now we have to file a resolution and a public hearing notice by certified mail to the chief executive officers of all the jurisdictions. Yeah, that's it. And hold the public hearing. It used to be, we just
Yeah.
send them a copy of the public hearing, that we gotta send it by certified.
So that's 4.
Let's see, this is town, county, and school district. It is outside the village.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So just the 3 jurisdictions. Although the village is in support of it as well.
Need motion.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're moving it, I'll second it.
Okay.
All right, in discussion? All in favor? Okay. Opposed? Very good.
It took a couple years getting that thing.
Like 5 or 6, since he first started.
Whoa, who's
And along the line of the same business where tonight is a meat cutting demonstration over at the schoolhouse in Downsville from 5 to 7. And I know
I am attending. yes.
Lindsay's going, I think Sean is, I'm gonna be there.
I won't be there.
You're gonna be
I will
playing,
be in Marine,
you're gonna be playing baseball.
yes.
Um,
Somebody bring a barbecue grill, so.
Well, I was gonna say, I gotta pick up some beer on it. They've got a grill and lots of beer there already, right?
At schoolhouse?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they'll be looking for everybody to hang out for a while,
I
yeah.
think so.
They doing the Longhorn from out back or what?
Yeah, well, a lot of times that's what you're eating.
yeah,
They're tough on the right hand side, because you gotta walk up.
It's-
So you feel moved.
Yeah, say you want it from the left side.
Right, they can go switch back.
The
perfect.
right's the ground beef, the left is the steaks.
Yeah. Yesterday I stopped at Fisk Antiques. And I went by there and I noticed that their lawn and everything was exceptionally full. As they just got a new shipment of metal in yesterday. From Mexico. They had a tractor trailer come in with a whole load.
All their lawn ornament,
Yeah.
lawn ornament.
So they now have, one of the ones that they have is a Longhorn and a Holstein.
Hmm.
And the Longhorn is as tall as I am.
Wow.
That's a real lawn ornament.
Yeah. I had one thing under other.
Yep.
And that is Shackleton Auto. The IDA provided them a loan through the Millennium Community Development Fund last summer. And the loan was written up to be a forgivable loan upon the completion of certain benchmarks, which included tearing down the old building, which had been condemned, and building a new building and getting a certificate of occupancy for it. So they provided Tab with a copy of their certificate of occupancy and the pictures to document what's there. And I would like a resolution to forgive their promissory note.
What happened to the rats?
They're in the theater.
Okay.
Make that resolution. But by here yesterday, selling these electric bicycles, quiet cat. it's called. They were loading 2 or 3 on some guy's pickup truck yesterday. That whole blue building is full of those electric bikes. And that's what it's
You
selling.
might want to consider renting some of them too.
I need to try. Oh, yeah, he's gonna run them out.
Yeah, that would be.
I'll second the motion.
Good second, all in favor?
What's with the total on that?
Opposed.
What do we do?
25,000.
That's good.
Do you want to
Any-
go into executive session?
Yeah, any other old or new business? And we need to go, well, wait a minute. Is Catskill Harvest, you want to do Catskill Harvest under the IDA or the LDC?
IDA.
Okay, so I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss the possible sale of a property.
So.
Okay, turn the recording off. So we're back from executive session. We have no motions for the IDA meeting as a result of the executive session. So can I have a motion to close or adjourn the IDA portion?
Potentially, wasn't it?
Second,
So moved, second.
Okay, now we'll open the LDC meeting. And I'll run through these motions till we get to the loan. Approval of the draft minutes for April 28th. Second, any comments on the draft, on the minutes? All in favor? I'd like approvals for the three financial resolutions, there's reports, the treasurer's report, and the invoices and the loan report.
I make a motion to
Second. Discussion. All in favor?
Okay, I have another resolution for their. Here it is, sorry, it got buried in my other stuff. So, I had mentioned earlier the IRP 5, so, having heard nothing for months. All of a sudden, we're getting inundated with emails today, and they want to close on it on Monday. So I got one of the things we need in order to close is, where's my close? Well, we've got a closing checklist, and basically it's just signing all the usual documents we usually do. And then there's a couple items we need. One of them is a resolution from the member board of directors to authorize, per the resolution, it would be me as executive director and Tabitha as assistant secretary to sign the loan documents with USDA.
Didn't we want to do that for IRP 5 before?
Yes, we did, but we've been working on this for over a year, so I don't wanna get to the closing and be like, oh, well, your resolution's outdated, so I just want a new one.
And so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We've had that happen with SBA closings.
I need to be
Yes.
educated on the movement.
And it's more than 90 days old
Yeah.
because of
They
their.
kind of fly through
Yeah.
some of these
Yeah.
resolutions.
But yeah, I was just hoping.
Jim, were you good on the treasury stuff
Yes.
in financials?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, and Ann Jones loan, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Need a. Can we have a resolution to join the Delaware County Chamber of Commerce?
Make a motion for the resolution. To join.
I'll second.
Second, okay,
Is
Lori,
Ray gonna charge us his full price? How's he gonna do that?
no, it's
You are
90,
So bad.
it's $95.
Okay. It's not based on the number of people you serve or any of that kind of stuff. It's a flat fee.
Flat fee.
All right.
No, it's,
You save money if you join a local one plus that.
Which one would you?
I
take?
don't want to get into it. I'm just trying to get this growth wheel program.
All right, so Mike moved that. Anybody second?
Florida did.
Florida. All right.
All in favor? Opposed. And I'll have him come into the board meeting next month and do a presentation on the gross wheel. Because he's got it, so it's all set up, he can do it right on the screen.
Take this all this assessment when we all fail.
Okay, any other old or new business for the LDC? If not, we can adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. Lunch will be here. I think Tab just went to grab it.
Yeah, so
Have a good
Thank
weekend,
you.
everyone.
Thank you, Florida.
All right, guys, take care.
Have a good weekend.
You as well. Thank you. Have a good one, guys.
Yep, bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm just gonna leave that. Oh, that's recording.
Have a good week, everybody. Mike, take care.
I got an email this morning saying something about a refrigerator. See if it works. Yeah. So,
Is it IT?
Did you forward that?
I know.
yes, I would,
I don't-
yes.
I don't